Hey everyone, welcome to another resume roast from the UBC podcast. Today we'll be looking at data science resumes, and to review them or roast them, we have Simran Sidhu as our special guest. Simran, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Simran. I'm currently leading all things campus in our co-op program here at Clearco. I've been in the Toronto tech space for a while, so moved to Clearco back in August and really excited to build out our campus program and hire the best student talent. So also very excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. I'm excited for the feedback that you're able to give to all these students interested in building a career in data science and analytics. So let's dive right into it. I've got the first resume open here.
Yeah, so this resume, pretty good off like the first initial view, but could still use a bit of work. I think it is 2 pages, if I can see correctly, which is a bit long, especially as a student. We try to keep everything at 1 page. The stat is, on average, we look at 6 seconds, and it's so true. So if we can see everything in one view, that would be best. Ideally, your name is on one line. I'm not sure if it's just because they took out their name, but if we can have that on one line, and same with the info underneath. So chemical engineering, data science, machine learning, that'll save you so much space up top that you can keep some of your stuff and we can condense otherwise. The motivation, I know a lot of students have this. I don't think it's necessary. We know you're looking for a co-op job. And I also think the stuff that you put in blue is actually pretty much covered in the first 3 things as well: chemical engineering, data science, machine learning. So we know your intentions, we know the space you're trying to get into. So I would actually take that out again to save some space. But otherwise, like, really good use of color as well. I think it does a really good job of, highlighting things that we should see and we need to see. So great job on the coloring. Skills and tools. I think this area could also be condensed. I would cut out communication and collaboration. That usually is tested for in an interview. So statistics, GitHub, data visualization, MS Office. So same thing as Diana says, everybody should know MS Office by now, but so I think you could take that out. GitHub, just link it at the top. I don't think the other needs to be there. So ideally you cut it down to just the programming and the machine learning and keep it short. Education, awesome. It looks like this person has graduated. So maybe co-op, maybe full-time, depends on, where you're applying. And I also think this could be condensed into one line as well. Move it up. It can all fit. So let's do that. Projects. This could definitely use some shortening for sure. Way too much detail. Try to keep it to a few sentences and what you did and the impact it had. Usually, like, the recruiter will follow up and be like, tell me more about the project. This is a lot. This takes up half a page. So I would actually cut this down, a lot of it. And I'd actually switch the project scene experience. So this person does have work experience, but it's on the second page. So you do not want the recruiter to stop reading by the first page and miss out on this lovely work experience you have. So really important to put that up top. So getting into the work experience, move it up for sure in front of projects. And you're going to want to have the skills and the tools that you used in the bullet points. So for example, the last bullet point on research assistant, recorded and entered data into Microsoft Excel, Python. That's really great. Like, they told us what tools they use, what impact it had, and it went from there. But the other first 2, I feel like, are missing that. Very word heavy. As a recruiter, I have no idea what they're talking about, mostly because I'm probably not in chemical engineering. But if I see the tools and the technologies you use, that to me would be like a green flag. I always say, make the language digestible for whoever's reading it. If I can't understand it, or if it's too word heavy, I'm probably not going to take 10 minutes to go through and figure out what it means, versus make it standard. Everybody should be able to understand the gist of what you're saying. That would be great. In the next one, project management engineer. This one was done a little better. However, it feels a bit overdone. I know that doesn't really make sense, but for the last point, acted as a means of communication between consultants and plant operators, etc. I think they're trying to say they acted as like the main point of contact, but I think they're trying to use a lot more words to make it seem, I'm not sure, but I would say we know what you're trying to say. Use like everyday words. You don't need to fluff it up all the time. Just like keep it simple, and then also your things will shrink, right? When you use, just get to the point, and you'll just save so much space. Yeah, pretty good job here. I would just move it again at the top because I think this is really important work that's actually been done. Certificate courses. There's a lot of blue in the first one. And I see they're trying to highlight, like, extracting, manipulating, that's something you've done. Hypothesis tests, great, something you've done. But there's just too much blue. just shorten this a lot and take away like key skills and learning, like 1 or 2 sentences. And you could also move it up into education. I've seen a lot of people now just put like their degree, university, college, or if you've done a brain station course, put that right under education. That's what I've also done. It can all be under one because this is a form of education. So if instead of needing to make a whole section, just like education, you can include this in there, good to go. And you don't need too much detail. Most recruiters know about like these Udemy courses, so it doesn't need to go into too much detail. I also say if you're running short on space, get rid of interest. I actually never get to the bottom of interest, and it just takes up space. The first things we should know and see when we're trying to consider you for a role is like the most important. So overall, like well done. Like I think they followed a good template. Just needs some like a bit of working on the language and just communication, just like structurally change some things. And I think this could be really good.
One thing that consistently stood out to me with what you said, and it reminded me of what Diana said in the previous
Mhm.
note, is that with resumes or with the points that you're writing, less is more. One thing that I'd want, I guess, I'd hope that students watching this video take is, since Clearco doesn't have cover letters, use your resume also to either subtly or not make it clear why you want to be at Clearco. Are we moving on to the second one, the next
Yeah.
resume?
So this one is a really great resume, and I know I just said we do not prefer Fang and
Mhm.
choose it, but this is I would say this template actually always is like easiest to read. And when I
Mhm.
look at a lot of our successful students, they have resumes that are just easy to read, good format. Like traditionally, this is kind of very similar to the templates all those students use. It's very easy on the recruiter eyes and gives us everything we need to know. So I see it a lot in the tech space as well. So go for it. Again, great use of like color and bolding. You always want like some headers because we were doing bold, italic. So a great use of colors. I also say I know this person like took it out, but hopefully that LinkedIn is hyperlinked and the website make it easier on us. I have times where I have to copy and paste it, but I do look at your LinkedIn for sure, especially if it's on there. Even if it's not, I'll go find it. It's a great way for like us to get a sense of you. To be honest, a lot of students actually like draw up their LinkedIn, like what they're looking for, what their interests are. It's a great like in addition to your resume, which I really like, and gives us some more details and insight as to who you are. So 100% have your LinkedIn on there. And then we'll get into the education piece. I really like that it's up first, your expected graduation date. Um, Sometimes hiring managers will, you know, come to me and say, "Hey, Simon, I want somebody really close to graduation because I want them to convert full time after, right?" And so that's something I look for. So, expected graduation, I'll be like, "Okay, so they are graduating soon, cool." And then I continue. Courses, I would say keep it short. This is good to have. For example, I've had a hiring manager for data sciences as I want somebody who's taken a machine learning course or has shown interest in it because there will be some machine learning work. This is great because it tells me you might not be a machine learning expert, but obviously you're interested in it, you're taking a course on it, so that's great, but keep it short. So this is perfect. Again, in this one, experiences first and your projects after. Um, and not talking too much about their experience because I think they did a great job. I like how they put the locations. I noticed a lot of students now are between like Canada, the US. So help us identify where you are. And that can also help me frame my conversation. If I know you're in a different time zone, do I need to call you in a different number? Or, just like where you're at is always is good. And I can kind of like frame my conversations around that. Yeah, I think they did a great job at bolding the things that mattered and talking about impact. Abstracted 30 countries, increased in and cross platform synergies by deploying blah, blah, blah. Like very clear, like I did this by doing that. And here was the impact. So really great and shows, yeah, impact made. Technologies, awesome. Tell us what frameworks you use in this role, languages. Sometimes I'm specifically looking like, have they used Python? Are they comfortable with JavaScript? So to see that you've used it before, and if you use it in all of them, awesome. Like that tells me you probably should be pretty good with this framework or language. So have it listed there. You don't need to put it in each bullet, but even at the bottom, technologies, here it is. Cool, awesome. Projects, that's the perfect amount of information. Um, I also like that he put like hackathon project awarded. That's awesome. It tells me your work was recognized. Um, but yeah, I think experience first projects and keep it really short and concise. That's great. And I know there's some students that have way more projects and work experience. That's totally fine. And in that case, you can have that up at the top and have all your projects. But I would say like do not put an overly amount of uh, extra detail just to make up for space. Um, we're going to see the work experience anyways. Just have a few points about your projects. You can have it at the top. And that way we know, okay, this person might not have all the work experience we're looking for, but clearly is trying to learn, going home and doing the projects, and building those skills that way. So yeah, just on the counter note as well, like if projects are all you have, put it at the top, but if you have work experience, put it underneath. Yeah, it was really well done, really easy to follow and flow, which is really important. Just like I can scroll down, good, done.
A question I have for you though is the part about bolding the impact words or impact statements. Do you like it when there's a little bit of bolding, or do you prefer it without it?
I honestly like, even I'm thinking about my own resume, I actually didn't bold anything. Yeah, so I would say if you're going to bold, do the right words. Um, but to be honest, I think it's just something needs to be bolded, because if you took even away the bolding on the fang and the non-fang, it's all just one thing. So it's harder for me to read. Bolding just is like, oh, okay, it's almost like a break. Like, when they say a page break, it's almost like that. So if you're going to bold like the company name and maybe words, you don't even have to do the words. It's almost just like something visually for us to break things apart. So I'm not saying it's a must have, like this person did a good job at it. But I also don't notice when people don't, as long as like there's changes in like almost fonts or styles that like your eyes just don't get lost in the same text for a whole page, if that makes sense.
And overall, I think now's a good time to just summarize your feedback from both the resumes. So yeah, do you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah. I think in summary, don't miss out on an opportunity to make the layout really good, because that's the first thing we see. So think about flow and what's most important that you see, that we should think you think we should see. So if you really want us to, I don't know, see what school you went to, or your work experience, that should be first in our face. So think about it like that. So again, if you have awesome work experience, put that up top. If you've done awesome projects, not a lot of work experience, show us the projects. That way we're excited to chat with you. So layout really does matter, and just make bullet points that are short, but tell us the impact you had. Yeah. So layout, impact statements, and just keep it clean and concise. It doesn't need to be overdone. Just simple white, black, and blue is good.
Perfect. And I think you summed that up really well. And I think now is also a good time to talk about Clearco and Clearco's internship programs and their full-time hiring as well. But I'd just love to hear from you, and I'm sure the students would love it as well, if you talked a little bit about the internship program, the vision for it, and full-time hiring as well.
Yeah, so we hire roughly about 20 to 25 co-ops so far each term, and we're working right now on summer recruitment. So if you are interested in applying, I would say apply ASAP as soon as you see this. Typical departments you will see are like software engineering, data science, product management, marketing, and we started again with finance. And yeah, those are traditionally like the big buckets you'll see. And you might only see 9 roles posted, but chances are we're hiring for 2 to 4, 6 of them. So there's going to be a lot. And then we also aim to like deliver a great experience when you're here at Clearco. When I joined, I surveyed all the students. I said, what is it about you that, what is it about Clearco that makes you keep coming back? Some of them have come back for 2-3 terms or have returned full time. And I asked them, well, why? Why not go try something else? And they all said it's the level of impact and the work they got to do here that they know they wouldn't have gotten to do anywhere else. It's a lot of hard work, but it's going to be like the best work you've ever done. Like Clearco is the space for you. Awesome culture, awesome people. And that's just not me saying it. I've heard it from the students, and they absolutely love their team. And we've gotten great feedback even from the folks that have just started 3 weeks ago. So apply ASAP. We would love to chat with you. And then in terms of full-time opportunities, I don't leave the recruitment for that, but we are growing like crazy again this year. So any full-time opportunities are on our website. I know traditionally, like off the bat, we are looking for engineers and sales roles. So, business development reps, account executives, really important stuff there. So we are going to grow. So keep an eye out for full-time opportunities. We will be working out on building a program that can accommodate like new grads or, people that have done certificates and that are, ready to do a co-op and then transition into full-time work. So long story short, all on our website, great roles out there, and like super great team to be joining at a critical time for Clearflow.
Thank you so much for taking the time to provide feedback and taking also the initiative to go in depth and being very clear about what do you think the resumes did well and what do you think they could do better.
No, thank you. And it was lovely to do this. Thank you for submitting your resumes, and thank you for being a great sport if I reviewed your resume, but it was really awesome to join. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And to those watching, thank you so much for tuning in to the UBC podcast.